bringing our focus to the sensitive area of Manipur, where there have been fresh attacks on the police forces. There has been one BSF Jawan that has been killed, and there are 2 soldiers of Assam Rifles that have been grievously injured. Now, this incident has taken place in the intervening night of June 5th and June 6th. There has been, in fact, a number of MLAs from Manipur have also arrived in Delhi to meet with the Union Home Minister Amit Shah to put forth their demands. They want some sort of a solution which has to be long lasting with regards to these clashes that are taking place between the Kuki community and the Meitei community. And meanwhile, there needs to be a long sustaining peace that has been at the forefront of Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit to Manipur just a couple of days ago. There needs to be at this time a solution that needs to be found. How can the solution be found? I'm going to start off my discussion. Let me quickly get in Major General Sudhakarji and his opinion on this matter. Major General Sudhakarji, despite there have been appeals for peace that have been made, there have been curfews that have been imposed, there have been a number of people who have surrendered their arms as well. But perhaps there is not enough that seems to have been done, because there has been yet another incident of violence that has been reported. Is there a way to curtail it?
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to your show. Coming straight to the question which you have raised, very relevant, very pertinent in everyone's mind in the country. Quick answers. First and foremost thing is that whatever has been announced by the Honorable Home Minister, we must have enforcement agency implementing everything by letter and spirit. Number one, that enforcement agency is a matter of detail. Time for this show doesn't permit me to go into the details. Number two factor is that we should remain mindful. I have been saying this right from the show number 1 of your channel, which brought out this particular incident or mayhem way back on 3rd or 4th. I have said repeatedly, regardless of what other panelists have been saying, that whatever happens in Myanmar will have a direct bearing here in Manipur. Third point, in Myanmar, we have both the tribes, Meitei as also Kukis. There is a inter-community rivalry manifesting since ages. Rather, I would say, not to go too far away or behind in timeline, you start from 1st of January 2021. Ever since the military junta came to power, democracy was given a salute. Hopefully it is a semi-permanent or temporary salute. Democracy sooner or later should get back to Myanmar for larger good of India as also the global order. The Meitei and the Kukis, they have been at each other's throat. There is a fighting there going on. Either of the parties have been supporting the military junta. Military junta has been actually unleashing its military might to target either of the group. So whenever any group is targeted, there is going to be a resultant migration from Myanmar into Manipur. Next point I wish to highlight is the poppy cultivation which is taking place, which has come to light in Manipur in the hilly region, is also come to reported in a significant manner in Myanmar. This year itself, Myanmar or the Golden Triangle has had a bumper crop, although the grade of the narcotics and the heroin and artificially created, chemically created heroin or the narcotics is it is lesser costly than that of literacy. Last but not the least, Megha, is that there is a requirement of taking a long-term view. It is only the judicial investigation which should give out a long-term view, wherein the constitutional amendment to assimilate or incorporate the Meitei in the tribal list should be considered actively, as is being in the adjoining states.
All right. I'm also being joined by Hanglem Robina Chanu. She is a Meitei activist. Robina is a resident of Manipur who has fled from Churachandpur. She has stayed in a relief camp in Churachandpur for a little while as well. Thank you, Robina Chanu, for joining us on the telecast. and we are happy and in relief to know that you have safely fled from the violent city area. My first question for you, Robina, is going to be, of course, that in what circumstances did you find yourself in when you had to forcibly shift to a relief camp? If you could share your ordeal and what all happened to you.
See, first of all, on 3rd of May, when the violence started, I was in my hometown. I actually live in Delhi with my family. Now, when I say my family, that's my husband and my daughter. My maternity, my mother, my brother, all of them, they live in Churachandpur, Kumajamba district. I went there for a vacation, for a festival that is called Dai Harauga. And that's when this, in this process itself, the violence started on the 3rd of May. But like I said earlier as well, how things have started, how the Kuki people came to our village, have started torching our houses, and then we have to run here and there, hiding and trying to save our lives. And there was, and on the same day, there was no support given to us from any of the forces, either it's the Manipur police or any of the other, all the forces that we have in Manipur itself. Now, but yes, I would say that on the 4th of May, I managed to come out of Churachandpur district with my daughter, okay, with the help of the army. However, my brothers, my sister-in-law, my cousin's sister, my entire family, 80% of my family, they were stuck in the army camps, and they were not able to come out of Churachandpur district. They were, on the very first day itself, when they were moved to the army camp, when they were coming out of Churachandpur district, the Kuki mob has stopped them on the way, and they were not allowed to come out of the district. That's how the army people have taken them to the camp, so that they can save those lives. And on the very first day itself, they've taken their phones and mobile phones, and we were not able to connect with our brothers and sisters. We were worried what has happened, because they were on the way coming out of Churachandpur, and all of a sudden we were not able to connect with them. That was a very difficult time that we had gone through. And but yes, again, having said that, the situation that they had was not in a good condition, but somehow, with the support, with the help, they managed to come out from the camp after 5 days. They've stayed in the camp for 5 days with no proper food, with no proper water, with no proper sanitary, all sort of those arrangements. And there were a lot of small kids, there were a lot of elder people, there were a lot of, in fact, my cousin sister herself was pregnant, and those were very, bad situation, I would say, that they have faced. They have seen those time. And in my sister, when she was rescued from the camp, she was not in a condition to walk. 2 people had to literally lift her up, and we had to rush her to hospital in the situation that she was.
Okay. So a difficult situation. Yeah. My sympathies with you and your family.
Thank you.
And stay on with me, Robina. Tavna Walt, also on the telecast with me. He is a PhD in psychology. He is at the University of Hyderabad. Now, Tavna, you've heard the plight of Robina and several people like Robina who have been kept in relief camps because they don't have any place to go to. Their houses are under attack. They have been burnt. They have been destroyed. The people have been displaced. It's not an easy situation to live in. And whether it be from the Kuki tribe, whether it be from the Meitei tribe, it's at the end of the day people of Manipur that are facing all these problems and all these issues. Now, Tavna, how do you see this situation? The central government has tried to bring peace through negotiations, but are they working on the ground?
Yes, yes, Megha. I understand, and my deepest sympathies with Rubina as well. Just like her and her family, there were around 30,000 Kukizou tribals who were displaced in Imphal as well. And just like her family, they were also chased away from their homes, and people from both ethnic communities, I would say, suffered in the same manner. Like, of course, I can argue about the number of people who were displaced in Imphal and the number of people who were displaced in Churachandpur, or say, for example, the kind of violence. Was it limited to arson, or was it just torture and outright violence? So, but then let these things be kept aside for the moment, because both sides have suffered in a humanitarian manner. But I would rather want to mention, firstly, the good work and the role played by the central forces, because as I have been mentioning in the other episode that you have posted me in, and as many people from the ground have also mentioned, we cannot trust the state police, and the state police has failed us both in Imphal and in the hill districts, which is exactly why we have been asking for the imposition of President's rule, because the central forces, wherever they have been neutral, and that is exactly why they were able to protect the displaced persons in Lamka as well and in Imphal as well, which is exactly why even now as we speak, the violence continues in Suknu and Serou and many other places, and even in these places, the central armed forces need to be given the total power, so that, because we cannot trust the state, and that is exactly why the good work that we comment on the central forces
make these important points, but also Tavna, at this point where it is the Assam Rifles who have taken over, it is the state police that is continuously in conjunction with the CAPF, the CRPF, now the army forces, now the BSF Jawans, they are all coming together to safeguard the lives and secure the properties of the people who are displaced, who are under attack. Now there has been a BSF Jawan who has been killed in this fresh firing, in this fresh clash that has taken place. There are 2 personnel from the Assam Rifles that have been attacked. My question is, when will this violence end? And you raised the question about whether there have been a large number of Meitei people who have been attacked and are in relief camps, or the number of the Kuki tribes that are in large number in relief camps. Now, are we comparing? So, are we at this point of time comparing where the damage is more, and therefore you are going to then speak about how your plight is bigger than the Meitei community? Like I said again, this is a situation, this is a humanitarian crisis at this point of time. Whether it is a clash internal or there are insurgents that are at play, the fight is for the lives and the safety and security of the people of Manipur, whether it is the Meitei community or the Kuki tribes, and therefore what is the long-standing solution? If there is already the CRPF, it is already the army, already the BSF that have taken control of the situation, they are looking out for the people of Manipur, whether they are from the Kuki tribe, whether they are from the Meitei community. How do we stop the violence now?
May I?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yes, Megha. Just as I have mentioned, when you first asked me that question, I mentioned, let us not compare, because both sides have suffered. Let the numbers be put aside. The humanitarian crisis is similar. I would not say the same, but is similar for both communities. However, what I have stated in the first session is that the central armed forces need to be given full control of the situation of both security and administration of the region. Now, I would like to mention, when violence started on 3rd May, on 4th May and 5th May itself, the Rapid Action Force was sent immediately to Imphal in the airport, and they were not able to come to the hill districts for a long time. In such a crisis situation, why were they not able to come to the hill districts to come and aid in the maintenance of security? Right, that is one question that I have. On 24th of last month, a BSF convoy carrying 3 tribal officers, suddenly they were attacked and ambushed by a mob, by a mob carrying guns, right? And these 3 officers, these 3 tribal officers, they were tortured, and somehow they were able to save them later in the day. Now, even now, as we speak, violence continues, and as long as I have been stating before, and I'll keep on stating it again, as long as the state government is allowed to intervene in the security measures of the region, the central armed forces will not be able to maintain the peace and security of the region, and neither will there be possible conditions for proper dialogue that we need so much right now. So this is the point that I'll keep making again and again.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Can I add some?
Yes, quickly before I go to the other panelists.
See, at this point of time, president rule. Now, why do you want a president rule? Don't you really think that the central government, the CRPF, the BSF, all of the armies that's available in India now, if you talk about India, that's one of the mighty power nations in terms of army. And a lot of Indian armies are really supporting at this point. Now, there are areas and there are situations where we have felt that the Indian armies have not supported the Meitei peoples as well. Okay. Similarly, like the way that the cookies have felt that the state police have not supported them. So stories can be everywhere. It could be different. So let's stop blaming at each other.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about how can we bring peace in the state. Now me as a Meitei activist, probably I can contribute a little bit by talking to my people. So what can you do from your side to bring peace in our state?
Fair
we have
enough.
lost numbers of
Fair
lives.
enough. Yeah, that's the question I continue to raise. I've been continuing to raise in the past debates and discussions as well. Major Mohammed Ali Shah, you've heard it, the plight of the Meitei community. We've taken a look at what the Kuki tribe at this point of time demand. Can there be a middle ground that can be then achieved by way of negotiations? And I keep harping upon this point because only dialogue can resolve this situation. There is no way that violence is the answer to the questions that the Meitei community is asking, the demands that the Meitei community has versus the demands that the Kuki community has. Now, Major General Sudhakar ji, we come to you, but Major General A.K. Sivach, again a response from you.
Yeah, Megha, see, there is no doubt about it. This violence has created a distrust between the two communities, which are major community. One is Meitei and Kuki. Now, the distrust is so much that until unless we don't remove it, the peace is not going to prevail. And now, with distrust, two things have again happened. One is the militancy, which was by and large under control and which has the roots in Myanmar, has again started off. And they are trying to make use of this situation, which is volatile. The second thing is the drug business, which is there. Of course, it was lying logo. Now it has come in a big way. So the point what coming is the present situation wherein there are two panelists with us only, one from Meitei, one from Kuki. They have their own viewpoint and both are right in what they are claiming. But therefore, the point seems to be, if they are both right, there is some problem there on ground and we need to make sure that there is a peace and harmony in all the communities. And to bring that, a neutrality has been brought. Certainly, the Central Armored Police Force, Assam Rifles, BSF and Army, when they have been deployed, they have gone with the aim to bring peace and go against the people who are taking law in their own hand with iron hand. And they have managed to bring some sort of peace. But hereafter, you have to involve all the stakeholders, the society elders. You have to make sure that the people of Meitei and people of Kuki community start feeling that they have to live together. And the violence is not the solution to the problem. And they must understand the suffering is from the both sides. It is not from one side. And
yeah, but also the question, Major A.K. Sivach, is my story point for today is that unfortunately there has been one more BSF Jawan that has been killed. There have been two personnel from the Assam Rifles that have been grievously injured. How long will this go on? Keeping in mind that the BSF and the Assam Rifles and the other army personnel have been the CRPF, the CAPF, they've all been brought in to maintain peace. Now, if the protectors are going to be attacked, how is there going to be a solution that can be found? Keeping in mind that community members, whether it is from the Meitei or the Kuki, they are saying that they do not have trust in the state government. They do not have trust in the state police. What they want is the intervention of the central government. So, when the intervention of the central government was sought, there was Home Minister Amit Shah who visited, he reviewed the entire situation, and now there have been central forces that have been put in place. Now, if the central forces themselves are being attacked, how can there be peace that can be initiated, that can be enforced in the region?
Central armored forces which are there, which are being attacked, unfortunate to me, it looks like these are not the ordinary people, neither for Kuki or Meitei community. These are the militants which are also operating there. And therefore, you have to go against that. The one BSF Jawan and two Assam Rifle Jawans which have been injured and one is killed. This is a handiwork of the militants which were lying Dogo. They got this opportunity to make it. Remember, Manipur is totally connected with Myanmar. Myanmar, the western portion situation is not conducive. And the Baathis or Kukis, the terrorists or the militant groups which were there, they had their bases there. Now, until now, they were lying Dogo because the situation in Manipur was very peaceful. But now, with this situation deteriorating, they are making use of the situation and attacking on the central police force oblique the Assam Rifles. I feel this is not the ordinary people of Baathis and Kuki. They have full confidence on central government forces. These are the militant, and we must go all out. Remember, one thing has happened. The number of weapons which were looted from the police armory, only 60% has come back. There are 40% weapons still there at last, and these are AK-47 and also AK-56 and certain other sophisticated weapons. So therefore, to me, it looks like that a three-pronged strategy. One is go against these militants in a big way. You have to carry out cordon and search and make sure these weapons are brought back, and the militants which are trying to now make use of this situation must be targeted. A second thing is that the society elders from both sides must be made to sit down, and they must now tell the people on the both sides that the violence is not the solution. And third thing is, whatever points have been taken, like the court said that the scheduled tribe status to be given to Methi and all, everything should be frozen for next 6 months. And sit down quietly, discuss between each other, and let a solution should find out.
Yeah.
And this highway which has been blocked between Imphal to Kohima must be opened. This is hurting everyone. Remember that in case the essential items are not reaching in Manipur, the rates will be skyrocketed.
Absolutely.
And that will be made use of the militant.
Yeah.
And also the poppy cultivation has to be curbed.
Absolutely. Major General A.K. Subhash, also another point of reference, keeping in mind that the Union Home Minister had also visited the border areas of Manipur that are attached to Myanmar. Now, you speak about insurgency, you speak about the drug mafia, you speak about how these foreign hands may be then able to take advantage and perhaps are taking advantage of the situation. In such a scenario, how important and integral does it become to fortify our borders, and what is the government of India doing in fortifying our border?
Remember our East Policy and Act East Policy, there where we have an international highway going from Manipur, going to Myanmar, then going to Thailand and Laos and then Cambodia. Now the problem coming is, as far as the western portion of Myanmar is concerned, the militancy is in a big way. The China-Myanmar economic corridor, the Chinese have made use of this, and they have almost bought peace by paying them. So the question which is coming is, certainly this area is volatile, especially after the military junta has come into power. And since the Manipur border is porous, the people can go on the either side of 16 kilometers. This is aggravating the situation. I think de novo look has to be taken. We have to make sure this border between Manipur and Myanmar must be fenced. Second thing is to ensure that the militants which have got their bases there may not able to infiltrate this side and create havoc the way they are now trying to create.
Yeah.
A situation which was not that bad, it's been now made bad by the militant, not by the two communities.
You're absolutely right. All right. On that note, I'm completely out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast and sharing your views.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.